What's going on, guys? It is your boy Austin Shobe here, back with another video, and today we are going to be making our predictions for UFC 314. Now, for the ones who don't know who are fighting on this card, it is Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes. Now, this card's pretty stacked. This whole card throughout is honestly pretty good. So, it's one of the better cards that I've seen since, I don't know, probably UFC 300. Let's just be honest. So, we're going to get straight into these predictions, and I want you guys to let me know what you think about these predictions. So, we're going to get right into this. Alright, for the first fight on the card, we got Nora Cornell versus Haley Cohen. Now, my predictions for this fight, I got Nora Cornell to win by decision, okay? It's always a safe bet to bet any women's fight going to a decision. It's just facts, you know? But no, she's 8-2. I forgot her record, but they're both on like a losing streak right now. It's just that she's on like a 2-fight losing streak, and she's like only on like a 1-fight losing streak, I'm pretty sure. So I'm gonna go with Nora on this fight. Alright, next fight. We got Tresean Gore versus Marco Tulio. This Marco Tulio guy is a beast. I don't know if you guys seen his performance against Ihor Potieria, but my goodness, this guy's good. I don't know what team he's a part of. I thought he was a fighting nerd at first, but I'm not too sure. Tresean Gore, I'm not saying he's a bad fighter. I just don't think he's on that level. You know what I'm saying? I think he can beat probably any mediocre guy any day. But when it comes to a high-level guy like Marco Tulio, I don't think he has it in the books. So, I'm going to go with Marco Tulio probably by finish. I think he's going to finish Tresean Gore. I'm not even wanting to butcher his name, but Sumudaruji, I don't even know. I'm sorry. He's fighting Mitch Raposo. All right. Now, whenever I was looking, I think Raposo came off the Contender Series. I'm not too sure. I think he did though. But honestly, I'm gonna have to go with the other guy because he's just like a seasoned vet. You know what I'm saying? He has like a really I think his record's like 30-some and like 14 or something like that. I can't remember, but I don't know. I just think his experience will probably give him the win. So I'm going to go with him beating Mitch. Let me know what you guys think about that prediction. I'm not too sure about this fight, but that's just my initial thought. So next fight, we got Cedric Dumas versus Mikhail Olajikic, or whatever his name is. I butcher those names, dude. Anytime there's a foreign guy fighting, I butcher their name. I'm sorry. But I'm going to have to go with my boy Cedric Dumas on this one. I've always been a fan of him. And he's honestly not a bad fighter. You know what I'm saying? His last fight against Ruzaboyov was honestly, I think he could have beat him, but with the eye pokes and everything, I don't know. So I'm going to go with my boy Cedric Dumas to beat Owen Jacek on this one. Okay, so those are my quick predictions for the early prelims. To kick off the prelim card, we got Darren Elkins versus Julia Erosa. Darren Elkins and him both have like a really similar record. Around the same amount of experience when it comes to MMA. So the only difference is that Erosa's like 5 years younger than him. He's like 35. Darren Elkins is 40. So this is gonna be some really shitty MMA math, but I'm gonna have to go with Julia Erosa on this one. Only because he has, more years of... He's like considered in his prime, like towards the end of his prime. So, I just think he's going to beat Darren Elkins. Alright, next fight on the prelim card is Jim Miller versus Chase Hooper. Now, Chase Hooper is a extremely good grappler. His striking has come a long way. Like, his whole MMA game has just improved a crap ton. And Jim Miller's another one of those guys who's like a seasoned vet. He's just really... He's been in the game for a while, dude. and he still can put on, you know, a good show. He can still put on a good fight. I know his performance against Bobby Green wasn't the best, but he took the beating. I don't know. I think Jim Miller still has maybe a few more years in the tank, but, you know, he's probably going downhill a little bit, but I still think he's a good fighter. As long as, I think if Jim Miller can stay on the feet in this fight, then he'll come out with the win. I don't think Chase Hooper is a better striker than him, but I do think he's a better grappler. So I'm going to have to go with Jim Miller on this fight, and yeah, that's my predictions for it. All right, for the next fight, we got Yan Xiaonan versus Vera Jonarubo. I can't with these names. But Yan Xiaonan fought Zhang Weili in her last title defense, and she didn't put on a bad performance, but she definitely lost the fight. Vera's just a really, really good grappler. So, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this fight. Vera's 21-3. I think Xiaonan's like maybe 16-2 or 17-2. I don't even know the record, but I know she has a decent record as well. If I had to go on a prediction for this fight, I am going to do Vera on this one. I think what she's going to do is she's going to go out there and try to grapple her and just try to get her out of there early, maybe within 2 to submit her. So that's my predictions for that fight. Let me know what you guys think about it. All right, next fight, we got Dan Ige versus Sean Woodson. Now, this fight is honestly a good fight. I think it's going to be entertaining, and it might go down to the wire. But I will say, I do believe that Dan Ige is going to get this win, only because his performance against Diego Lopes wasn't bad, you know? It wasn't bad. The way that he did Andre Fili was really impressive. He's just a really good fighter, dude. You know, he's an underrated fighter in the featherweight division. I think he could probably crack into the top 10, maybe. I just think a lot of people don't put that much respect on him. And I'm not saying Sean Woodson's a good fighter, because he is. I seen his last fight. So, I don't know. It'd be a good fight, but I'm going to... My gut's feeling Dan Ige, so I'm going to go with Dan Ige on this one. So, yep, Dan Ige. All right, next fight on the card, we got Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes. This fight's kind of like a toss-up for me a little bit. I don't know too much about Krylov, but Dominic Reyes was someone who, at one point in his career, was looked at to be, you know, the guy who beat John Jones, the guy who got robbed by John Jones. He's a good fighter, dude. Any fight he's been in, he's put on a good show. The fight leading up to him getting knocked out against Yuri, it was a good fight. I mean, he was getting his butt kicked, but I mean, I don't know. Dominic Reyes is just like, he's still skilled, and I think he's found the fire again. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be honest, Nikita Krylov, he's a good fighter, but like, I don't think he's better than Dominic Reyes. So I'm gonna have to go with Dominic Reyes on this one. I think now that he's on a 2-fight winning streak, he built that confidence back up. I honestly think this might be his time. You know, why not, dude? Fuck it, Dominic Reyes title run 2025. Let's do it. So, I mean, I'm here for it. So Dominic Reyes is going to beat Nikita Krylov. Mark my words. All right, next fight on the list is Bryce Mitchell versus Gene Silva. Now, a lot of you guys are probably looking forward to this fight because of what Bryce Mitchell said. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't agree with it either. You know, I think it's kind of crazy for him to say all that crap, but, I mean, honestly, I wasn't really paying attention to it. So, all I know is that Bryce Mitchell is still a good fighter, okay? You guys can't take that away from him. And let's be honest, other than Josh Emmett, Bryce Mitchell has done probably the best against Ilia Topuria. I'm just saying. Yeah, he lost. You know, he got his ass kicked, but he did the best. He didn't get knocked out. You know what I'm saying? I just think a lot of you guys underestimate Bryce Mitchell. And yeah, Gene Silva's a good fighter, but who the heck has he actually fought that was a good fighter? You know what I'm saying? All the guys that he beat, I think Bryce Mitchell would beat too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that this is going to be a hard fight for Bryce, but I think Bryce is just a tad bit better. Not as a striker, but he's an insane grappler. So, I'm going to go with my boy Bryce Mitchell on this one. I'm not saying I like him as a person, but I think you guys are underestimating him a little bit in this fight. So, I'm going to have to go with Bryce Mitchell on this. Alright, next fight. Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull. Now, I haven't really seen much of Patricio Pitbull. Jeez. But I mean, I've seen some of his highlights. I've seen his fight against Michael Chandler. I went back and watched some of his stuff. This dude's good. You know, I don't know why he hadn't been in the UFC earlier, but I mean, he still has time to prove himself, and I think Yair Rodriguez is a perfect first fight in the UFC for him, you know, really to put him on the radar and, you know, put his name out there for title contention. All I'm saying is this. You guys go back and watch his fight against Michael Chandler, okay? And let me know what you guys think about it. I'm going to have to go with Patricio Pitbull on this one. I don't know how he'll win, but I do think he's going to beat Yair Rodriguez. And I don't think Yair Rodriguez has had the best performances recently. So that's another reason why I'm going with Pitbull on this one. So let me know what you guys think about that prediction. All right. Next fight on the list is probably one of my most favorite fights I'm looking forward to on the card. I just think it's a really interesting matchup. We got Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. Okay, I think this is a 5-rounder. I'm not too sure, though. Listen, dude, any fight that Michael Chandler gets into is a scrap. It's a war. It's entertaining. Always fight of the nights or whatever. But I'll tell you what, dude. Michael Chandler always gets himself in trouble, and I do not think this man thinks when he fights. Okay? He's an entertaining guy. He's a good fighter. I mean, dude, he's, like, lost most of his fights in the UFC, but they were all to, like, really good contenders. He can put up a good fight. I don't know. He's 38 years old. I mean, he's in good shape. Dude, I don't know. I think Paddy Pimblett's gonna get him, though. I really do. I think probably a similar thing that's gonna happen in the first Charles fight that Michael Chandler had. You know what I'm saying? Probably not the same. It's probably not gonna go out the same way, but I do think freaking Paddy Pimblett would submit Michael Chandler. You know, Michael Chandler he's too explosive. He's gonna probably do some crazy, stupid shit in the fight where he tries to take him down and then eventually gets submitted. You know what I'm saying? And shoot, dude, Paddy Pimblett, I mean, he's evolved on the feet too, so I mean, he might even have a chance to freaking crack Chandler's chin, especially with how old he is now. I don't know. I think that whole Conor thing kind of screwed it up for him, you know? He waited forever. So, I don't know. I think it'll be a good fight, but I do believe Paddy Pimblett will get the edge on this win. So, who knows? All right, main event time. We got Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes. Volkanovski is 26-4. Diego Lopes is 26-6. Dude, I don't even know I don't even know who to pick on this fight, dude. You know, both these guys, Diego Lopes is my personal favorite fighter in the featherweight division. Like, he's just really entertaining to watch, and he's explosive. He's just a fun guy to watch because he gets those guys out of there. You know what I'm saying? His performance against Brian Ortega was phenomenal. You know, he just had a really good performance. But Volkanovski, dude, it's like a lot of people are just shitting on him because, you know, he got knocked out by freaking Islam in that short notice fight. Short notice. And then got knocked out by Ilya. Everybody gets knocked out by Ilya, bro. I mean, I don't even know. My gut My heart's telling me Volk, but my gut's telling me to go with Diego Lopes on this fight because just of what all Volk's been through within those fights. But I'm not saying it's going to be a bad fight. And I'm not saying Volk doesn't have a chance, because he does. I'm just, if I was wanting to do it safe, I'm going to have to go with my boy Diego Lopes on this fight. And I mean, shoot, I mean, my predictions can change last minute, but I mean, for now, that's who I'm going to pick. Diego Lopes is just a very dangerous fighter. I've always been saying Diego Lopes is the dark horse of that division, and it'd be foolish of me if I just switched up now and been like, oh yeah, Volk, I really think Volk would beat him. And I'm not saying like, like I said, my predictions could change last minute, but I gotta stick with what I've been saying this whole time. Diego Lopes is going to be the featherweight champion, and that's it. So I even think if Diego Lopes and freaking Ilya would fight, dude, I think Diego Lopes would freaking kill Ilya. You know what I'm saying? So that's my predictions for UFC 314. I hope y'all are looking forward to these fights. I don't want you guys to miss out because there's going to be a lot of good fights on this card. So, you know what I'm saying? If you guys like my predictions, just like the video, subscribe to my channel, and put on those post notifications so you don't miss out whenever I post again. So, I think that's going to be it for this video, you guys. Don't miss out UFC 314 this weekend. I think they're fighting. I don't even remember where they're fighting. I'm not going to even attempt to think. But yeah, that's going to be it. Don't miss out. A lot of good fights. Peace.